Hey guys, just gonna give it a couple more minutes and then I'll start shortly. Okay, even though I have anyone in here yet, welcome everyone. I'm going to put the link shortly in Facebook and hopefully I can get some people to join me. I am your host, Lee32, and we're going to shortly be talking about the topic of blood. So, with that being said, we'll get started in another minute. Okay, so I shared it from my personal page to LiveChat, and hopefully I can get some people in. In the meantime, and in between time, let me finally show my face. Hey guys, welcome. Hopefully I could actually get some bodies up in here soon, but I am your host, Lee32. And today I'm going to be talking about blood. And basically this obsession that there is with blood in our communities, in our culture, and especially with the New World Order. So, with that being said, I will pull up some stuff, some interesting videos, including talking about a drug called adrenochrome that a lot of conspiracy theorists have been mentioning and things like that. So, let me pull up what exactly is adrenochrome and also where you may have heard it from before. So, just a moment. So if you type in adrenochrome, just as I did right here, you'll see that the official definition is that it is a chemical compound with the molecular formula, and you see a bunch of letters and numbers, produced by oxidation of adrenaline. So usually adrenochrome is a chemical reaction, especially if you are excited or in fear in particular. A good example to see how adrenochrome may work is with the movie Monsters, Inc. With Monsters, Inc., they get their power, the monsters get their power from the fear of children. So the monster's scared. There's also a medication for it. As you could see, like with the conspiracies, you can totally see that this Clinton, the usual suspects, if you will. There's alleged of adrenochrome farming of abducted children and different things like that. So this is, if I could get in closer, what the vial looks like, the adrenochrome. So as you can see here, it's blood, basically. So it's blood that of someone who, was in fear or in some type of level of excitement where this chemical process would happen. So with that being said, I'll play you a quick clip from the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If any of you guys do sign on, let me know if you hear it.
Got a hotel at 16800, please. As your attorney, I advise you to take a hit out of the little brown bottle in my shaving kit. You won't need much. Just a tiny taste.
What is this shit?
That stuff makes pure mescaline seem like ginger beer, man. Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?
Hello. Hi, Lucy. God bless. Yeah, it's me. What? Hell no. I taught the bastard a lesson he'll never forget. What? No, not dead. him out there. I stomped him and pulled all his teeth out.
I remember thinking, Jesus, what a terrible thing to lay on somebody with a head full of acid.
But we have a problem. That bastard cashed a bad check downstairs and gave you his reference. They'll be looking for both of you. Yeah, I know, Lucy, but you can't judge a book by its cover. Some people are just basically rotten. Anyway, the last thing in the world you want to do is go in this hotel again. They'll trace the call and get you straight behind bars. Well, move into the truck again right away.
Ooh.
You know what it is, and I gotta get off. Yeah, I know, it was horrible. I gotta get off. Well, that's that. That's the last we should be hearing from Lucy. She's probably stopping herself down here soon.
Okay, so wanted to give you that insight as to the topic for today, which is adrenochrome. And as you could see, this is a classic take of art imitating life and life imitating art. So in the art, we're seeing the adrenochrome being mentioned, and basically the main character in the movie pretty much has a really, really crazy and horrible high immediately after taking this drug, because it wasn't supposed to be taking that many drops, and it's extremely potent. And you start seeing him, he's like having visions of demons, and everything turns red around him, and it's just a hot mess. So this is just an example of information that people think is fictional that is put onto the mainstream. And so it's not just art that talks about adrenochrome. It is also well known in witchcraft. So the next clip I'm going to play is someone who is a hoodoo/voodoo witch. They have a channel on YouTube, and I've seen several videos of them talking about blood and its significance. And this is one of her more recent videos where she talks about it. Now, do not get the wrong thing. For those of you who either log on, replay this, watch this, I'm not trying to say, hoodoo voodoo's good or bad. I'm not judging this particular person. This is more for informational purposes, just to let you know that there are people that are really, really into blood rituals, blood sacrifices, and really understand the importance of blood. So I'm going to play her video now, and just so that way you guys get a better idea of what I'm talking about and what do I mean by it seems like our humans in general, and especially our society, just has a huge obsession with blood. So we will, let me pull that back up for you guys. Okay. This YouTuber's name is Magical Lady Duchess. And basically, we will be playing her video where she talks about conjuring and using bodily fluids in magic. So, here we go.
Blood and semen. That's all everybody thinks. You smell some menstrual blood and semen. I'm gonna put some drops of blood. Listen, sit the fuck down, okay? Alright, so in magic, occult, conjuring, hoodoo, voodoo, I'm not gonna say Wicca, because Wicca's ain't about hurting nobody and shit like that, so I doubt very seriously. But it is a water element. Alright, Wiccans. So, we're mostly gonna talk about semen, because, okay, let me go back. Body fluids could be semen, tears, urine, feces, pubic hair, nail clippings, some spit, menstrual blood, women's secretions. It could be a multitude of things. You can even use the sweat off of somebody's shirt or underneath their arms. It's still a body fluid, okay? So, all right. So there are many taboos and shit like that when we're talking about using body fluids, right? Because mostly what people think about, we're talking about menstrual blood and like putting some blood in the red sauce and making the dudes some spaghetti. Listen, that's typically how it kind of works. And you can also do a panty soup. Let me see what a panty soup is. Just throw it out there. So you wear your panties for like a day. You know, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say 3 or 4 days, cause them hoes gonna be stiff, and he gonna think it's a tortilla chip. But anyway. All right. So panty soup is just you wearing your panties and you make a soup, and you put your panties in the pot and you let it boil and cook. And it's supposed to be a way to keep them. So anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So we're gonna talk about the taboos and stuff that go along with menstrual blood, with semen and urine, and it could be kind of problematic, but especially if you're wanting to use your blood all the time. I don't want you using your blood all the time. They're great for sex magic and also for conjuring and stuff like that. But just think about it like this: human blood is considered to be the more powerful than other things. Human blood is identified with the soul that carries the greatest power. It is like they say, like if you a couple of drops of blood for a person, it creates like an emotional attachment, which can be true. But the blood of they say like of anybody that's been killed or somebody that's executed, they say that that's a powerful protector too against like disease and bad luck and stuff like that because of the energy of it. Even a victim's blood on a handkerchief could be used for like magical rituals and stuff like that. But what I want you to understand is that human blood, because that's what everybody want to know about, human blood is used to seal pacts and oaths as well, and sisterhood and brotherhood. Um, it's it strengthens the foundations of buildings. You can use, like, if you get into an office space or your home, you can feed it a drop of your blood for you to stay there. But just think, if there's some shit fucked up, you're gonna be fucked up and you ain't gonna be able to leave. You know what I'm saying? So like menstrual blood is like if somebody consumes a little drop of it, that person will love her passionately forever. Which there is great truth to that. But let me tell you what happens with you guys. You guys put so much fucking blood in shit that you can literally taste the iron. And he know damn well spaghetti ain't supposed to taste like iron spaghetti. It's supposed to taste like a meat spaghetti. And y'all be fucking up. That's why I don't even like teaching on this shit, because y'all take that shit and go 1,000 with it. And you should never be doing any of that stuff. Did you even know that menstrual blood is really good for healing, protection, and banishing work? No, because all y'all want to do is talk about love shit. And he don't even be about shit. So anyway, menstrual blood has a long and engaged fear when it comes to men too, being associated with a woman trying to do something to him and stuff like that. Listen, if you good at this, you don't have to use your blood to bind a dude to you. I could tell y'all some other ways to do that, but not on this video. Even in Leviticus, if you study Leviticus in the Old Testament, and I believe it's 18 chapter 18, verse 19, it says, "You shall not come near a woman while she is impure by her uncleanliness to uncover her nakedness." It was talking about the menstrual blood. Even in some cultures, like you don't have sex on when you're on your cycle because that's shedding the lining from the inside, which is like a considered a waste. But some dudes like to have sex with women on their cycles. Do you, Damon?
I'm not opposed.
What'd you say?
I'm not opposed to it.
Also, like vaginal fluids, because we're on that and we're talking about vaginal fluids. All right, so to keep a man crazy about you and uninterested in wandering, all you have to do is mix a little bit of menstrual blood in his food or drink. Like I said, it's more to it that goes along with that, but everybody wants to talk about, oh, some blood. Let me tell you something. Have you ever bought a shirt and the shirt was really what you wanted, or an outfit, or a purse, or a car, and you think, I really fucking want this purse? All you can do is just like visualize, you can like fucking see it, and all you want is this purse. Then you get it, and then all of a sudden it's not what you thought it was. It don't fit you all the way. Something's off with it. But you can't take it back because you done already wore it. That's kind of like using blood work. You don't want to do it quite like that. You just don't. Is he like dropping shit? That cat is so crazy. So I just want you guys to know I need to do a in-depth class about blood, and I've talked about it a lot in my apprenticeship. It's really good for financial stuff too, for healing. It's just not all about a man. I get kind of frustrated a little bit sometimes because I want you guys to elevate yourself and not just always be wanting to do stuff because it has to do with getting a man or keeping a man. Sometimes you need to be bigger than that, better than that.
And on that note, I totally agree with her. One of the things that I liked about her talking about this whole blood thing is she keeps it real. Like, she talks about, it was like a video she did 2 years ago. She was talking about fuck boys and how so many, I guess, of her clients asked, for these like blood related spells, if you will, to keep a dude that really isn't worth keeping, and vice versa. So I kind of like that she has a sense of humor about it, is real about it, is not trying to lead you down a road, hold no punches, that this is serious craft. And I've actually seen more sinister videos, but unfortunately, given the time frame, of course, I don't have access to the videos anymore of some of the more sinister people that were talking about this whole blood sacrifice, adrenochrome, using blood magic. This video I saw of this woman was drinking her own blood and was basically like screaming about it, and was also saying that she had even, aborted her own babies and like, ate the placenta, different crazy things like that. Like, stuff that would probably be in your nightmares, to be frank, because I was just like, okay. Had I not researched conspiracy theory stuff before, it would have disgusted me more. But the truth is that it doesn't surprise me. Especially anybody that is into like QAnon and things like that. You may have just learned all about these rituals and this topic in general. So, the next thing I wanted to go over really quick was I wanted to show you a couple of passages from this book. So this is a book by Fritz Springmeier. It was published in 1998. When I got this book, it was about like $50, give or take. It's now more than doubled in price. on Amazon, and it's no longer published. But this particular book goes over a whole bunch of stuff in regards to the different family bloodlines, the importance of it, basically who runs the world, and just like how important bloodlines and blood are in general. So next I'm going to pull up real quick is a couple of pages that I scanned from in here that I'm going to read to you real quick to kind of get the point across in regards to this topic and why I say that there's kind of an obsession with blood magic. So, do that. Okay. So the page that I'm on is based on the family called DuPont. You guys may recognize that name. As a matter of fact, there's quite a few familiar names that are in this book that your jaw probably dropped like, really? Onassis, the Kennedys are in here, the Clintons. Like there's a ton. So this particular page I'm on is in the DuPont chapter. And it is kind of amazing, like, the amount of research that was done to even get the background on these families. So, let me scroll up. There's particular... And I do highly recommend this book, people, by the way. So, if you notice, it's titled A Dynasty of Satanic Royalty. So, I'll read this part real quick. And we'll get to it. Sitting down to write about the DuPonts reminded me of two other families. Recently, John Coleman, a researcher on the elite, commented to me that when he had researched the Queen of Denmark, he had discovered that the royal Danish family was slipping away secretly from everyone and that they were going to satanic rituals. It is also noteworthy that 5 modern kings of Denmark have been the leaders of Freemasonry in Denmark, and the Danish royal family, princes, etc., have been active Masons. John Dale wrote a book, The Prince and the Paranormal, which goes into the secret occult activities of the British royal family, especially Prince Charles, but also many other royal family members too. Besides the secret occult activities of the British monarch, they have been openly leaders of Freemasonry, including Prince Philip. And this book, by the way, has a bunch of charts in it and family trees that links presidents to princes and royal family members to some interesting historical figures. So that's a side note. The DuPonts are similar to these families. They too are a dynasty, and they too have a very public image, and they too have a totally hidden life. In fact, the DuPonts have better control over the press coverage of them than the British royal family. Now keep in mind, these are Fritz Springmeier's words, not mine. So, Claude DuPont married the great-great-grandson of Nathan Mayer Rothschild, named James Nathaniel Charles Leopold Rothschild, at a time when the Rothschilds were still fussy over who they married, often marrying their own relatives. Okay, as you can see, this part I highlighted. One of the clues that the family is a top satanic family is the frequency of marriages between relatives of the DuPont descendants. Few people are aware of the immense importance bloodlines play in the upper levels of Satanism. Blood is believed to carry the occult power. Unless a person has the correct blood, he or she will not rise to the highest levels of Satanism. I don't know why I had got tongue-tied on that word. The DuPonts have intermarried with the Balls and the Gardners. These other families are known to be involved with Illuminati and Satanism. For instance, George W. Ball is on the important permanent steering committee of the Bilderbergers and has attended the Bilderberger meetings. Basically, if you could see, it's like 1954, 55, 57, 63, 64, 66, 67, 68, 74, and 1975. And I'm sure there were a lot more dates than that. Mr. Ball is also a member of the CFR and Trilateral Commission. That's another thing that you will find with those who basically really run the world. They are frequent members and attendees of Bilderberg, Council of Foreign Relations, aka CFR, and the Trilateral Commission. Eliza Cazeneuve Gardner was a sister to DuPont. Dorsey Kavanagh Gardner was a distant cousin. Will Gardner and Bessie Gardner DuPont were cousins of the DuPonts. John W. Gardner is a 6th degree Illuminatus and in charge of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund. I found out the Gardners in the thick of Satanism and witchcraft. Now, I actually did a couple of more pages to scan real quick. I'm not going to read everything, just certain parts. So, I don't know if you guys know who Grace Kelly is. She was basically a famous actress, featured in Alfred Hitchcock movies, and they also mention her and her significance in the book. So, if you notice, they state that Grace Kelly's father was an Olympic gold medal champion, married a woman named Margaret, and she is of German nobility. Grace's brother Kel followed in his footsteps, and her brother was an Olympian, won the bronze medal in 1956. Kel was going to race for the mayor of Philadelphia, but he was caught in a love affair. As you can see, this is 1998. They write transvestite. Today we would call it transsexual. But even then, that was still considered taboo. So, especially with the recent killings in Puerto Rico, we know that we still have a long way to go in regards to people being accepting of transsexuals. So, the book alleges that Grace Kelly was a programmed Illuminati slave, that she had multiple personalities. Part of her programming was done at the Ravenhill Convent, and they talk about the convents have been known to participate in basically MK Ultra beta kidding programming. Parents had played tricks on her, wrong number of the candles on the birthday cake. Honestly, this reminded me of Shirley Temple because they lied about Shirley Temple's age to make her younger. And it wasn't until Shirley Temple was an adult that she found out that she was actually a year or two older than what she really was. She had, she was like a child, had fantasies, but she lived in a fantasy world more often than not. And this part I thought was interesting. Her parents would force her to drink blood. And they said because she was sickly. When she went to Hollywood, she had to get psychiatric treatment to help her cope with Hollywood. And more than likely it was really mind control programming. She worked for MGM, which is backed by Illuminati and the mob. It then goes on to talk about Alfred Hitchcock, who had an interesting, relationship with her. And, she basically always, maintained some type of, contact and communication with him. So, that's the second thing I wanted to bring up. Now, next we have this family, the Rockefellers. And with the Rockefellers, you see, who are the generational satanic families. There's 13 magical and powerful, once again, we talk about the bloodlines. There are some other powerful bloodlines worth naming, but if they're Illuminati, they have blood ties to at least one of the main 13. Half the Illuminati people have had their parentage hidden from them, so some of them may not even know their true, family tree. Many of those who still know who their real parents are do not know what bloodline they belong to until the Illuminati chooses to reveal themselves. High-level Satanists that do not have MPD, they're very emotionally break down under the stress of horrible blood rituals that are required. So, as you can see, once again, obsession with blood rituals, blood sacrifices, etc., etc. So now, here's where the really sick shit comes in. In southern Belgium, near the village of Munio, there is the Mothers of Darkness Castle. It is a room of 1,000 lights. That room is ornate and has balconies. In that castle is a cathedral, and in the cathedral's basement, a little baby is sacrificed daily, and its blood is used as ink to write in a special large book of the history of how the Antichrist is coming to power. The pages are basically they're written around the clock. The castle is also described in a 1991 book, Be Wise as Serpents. The history in that handbook would reveal real facts behind the propaganda that the world's major news media give the gullible public. So, with the QAnon folks, and I know they came out with a documentary called The Fall of Cabal, they talk about these rituals, they talk about the mainstream media being controlled, and all this stuff. So, this kind of backs some of that information that QAnon has been, and that group have been touting. So, we'll continue on. So now, if you notice, the 13th bloodline is the Holy Vignian. Basically, this bloodline is alleged to be part of both the bloodline of Jesus Christ and the bloodline of Lucifer. That's what they believe. That's what they're taught. So, if you notice, these people may sound familiar. Two persons from Transylvania have stood out in history for their bloodlust: Count Dracula and Countess Dracula, who are the cousin of the King of Poland, István Báthory, who is also the Prince of Transylvania. So, they go into the description of Transylvania, the history of the various battles and wars. And basically, the Transylvania ruler, who was the greatest bloody tyrant, was Gabriel Báthory. Countess Dracula, written about in Dracula, was a woman that was from the Báthory family. She appears to have been an MPD and a lesbian after she wholeheartedly accepted witchcraft. She was tortured and sacrificed. She tortured and sacrificed 612 girls for her sadistic pleasure and to bathe in tubs of their blood, aka this is Elizabeth Báthory. She was assisted by two witches, Darvula and Dorita Sentes. She loved the blood of her victims. The German nobles in Transylvania wrote numerous articles claiming Count Dracula drank the blood of his victims. Since they were one of the groups he disliked, no one is sure of their claims, but modern writers misclaim that no one described Count Dracula as a vampire, only as a sadistic ruler who liked to burn, torture, and impale people. Given all the stories regarding Dracula, I have a feeling there might be more truth to that blood drinking, and aside from the historical known torture. So there are two people today that are related to Count Dracula. The heir to the original Count Dracula is Audemars Rodolphe Vlad Dracula Prince, and don't ask me to say this last one, Kretsulesco. And the second person is Prince Charles. And you see the genealogy chart over here where they kind of describe how he's basically like a distant relative to the Count. So I thought that was interesting. And one of the things I wonder is this is one of the things that Princess Diana found out, which might have been the reason why she wanted that divorce. Because I'm sure they didn't tell her this in the beginning. So with that being said, as you can see, these are just some of the topics that I wanted to bring up just in regards to talking about the blood and whatnot. And just, if we think about it, most major religions have some type of focus on blood. Whether you're clean or unclean blood, animal sacrifices, the blood of Christ. Just, there will be bloodshed. Even in this book alone, I can't tell you how many items in the index mention blood. the title of the book is Blood. And it's interesting that, for them to check our health, blood is always needed, human fluids, and how much of it is used in magic, how much of it is used, both in the past and the present in religion. And you start to wonder, like, aside from, the iron, like, what other properties are there? Like, blood could tell you so much. Blood could tell you, the blood type, if you are related to somebody, what sicknesses you have. I have a feeling there's a lot more, especially based on the importance that the leaders of our world put on it. Even more recently, the issue with Bill Gates and Microsoft and them having to pull down their commercial with the artist Marina Abramovich. She's known for spirit cooking. She's known for putting blood up and different things like that. So, it's one of those things where it's like they really, in a way, kind of tell us through movies and TV shows and cartoons and basically any type of media, that because they do control 99% of the media, they do tell us the truth, but in bits. So, like me showing the clip of the adrenochrome earlier, one of the things that I could not find that I remember several years ago I was able to find was a story about Al Gore walking around with blood. And basically there are allegations that, he was walking around with adrenochrome. As there's even a company right now that they basically take the blood of younger people, like young women, give it to, or men, but give it to older individuals, and basically it almost reverses the aging process. So think about this. Think about how many celebrities we have that, like, they don't age. Gwen Stefani, Missy Elliott, to me, she practically has, like, the Benjamin Button thing going on. Jennifer Lopez, you gotta look at her really, really closely to see her crow's feet and things like that, but she looks fantastic. Same thing with Shakira. Shakira's 47 and looks better than most of us. Like, not one, crow's feet, line on the forehead, nothing. Pharrell's another one, still looks extremely young. But one thing I could say with this whole, the C word happening around us is, I don't know if you noticed, but some of these celebrities have been looking horrible. They looked young not even 2 months ago, and it's like now they look their age. Part of it is me thinking you could tell who pays their staff and who doesn't. Like, there's no reason. Diddy's almost worth $1 billion. There's no reason for him to look like the way he's looking right now. Like, honestly. There's long been rumors and facts about his practices in regards to business. So, to me, the fact that he looks the way he looks right now, it's showing that, like, yeah, you don't pay your people, and now you don't have the people that you aren't paying around you to help you look good. Whereas, you compare it to a Cardi B, you can't tell that we're in a the thing that rhymes with Morona situation. She still looks the same. She still has her hair done, her nails done. The makeup is on point. A few other people I've seen, like DJ Khaled, hasn't been looking too hot. Kanye and Kim look fine. So you could tell that they pay for their people to still look good. But I'm also wondering if it's more than that. Is it that they ran out of a certain ingredient and now are a little empty? Do they need that adrenochrome to make them look good again? To hide their grays? Who knows? I personally think it's a little of both. I think it's both them being cheap and not paying their staff properly. And I think a little bit is they don't have access to certain chemicals that they normally do have access to. to maintain looking fresh and alive. But that's just me. That's my opinion. You have yours. So, forgive me guys, this is my first official live chat, and I was trying to put all this information together to kind of show like where my mindset was at in regards to this whole like blood thing and adrenochrome. And quickly to go back regarding Marina, you know, she's had many spirit cooking classes, the whole Pizzagate situation, she's mentioned by name in these emails, and the public events show like a mimicking of cannibalism. Also her artwork where she's like splattering blood and basically putting a recipe with bodily fluids on, you know, for what? Like if you're not into the occult, like you claim that you're not, because basically due to the Microsoft commercial, she's had a ton of backlash, and they had to take that commercial down. Now she's insisting like, oh, I'm not satanic, I'm not part of the occult. It's like, no offense, lady, but you do a lot of occult things for someone who's not into the occult. And just the whole transhumanism thing. Also, what do you guys think of Elon Musk's new name? Like this new name of his son, which looks like a mathematical equation, and according to the mother Grimes, part of the name is like Elvish for AI, aka artificial intelligence. Like she said that in her own Twitter account. So there's, like I said, art imitating life, life imitating art. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of thrown in plain sight, like The Simpsons predicting Donald Trump becoming our president, like how many different movies and TV shows kind of showed a clip showing that the Twin Towers like up in smoke or could go down, 9/11, different things like that before it actually happened. And I get it, there was a 1993 bombing, but still, it just there's a lot of coincidences, and sometimes things are more than a coincidence. So, but yeah, that's all I had for now. If you guys like the topic, like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna leave the replay up. I'm also going to basically put the audio version on my podcast, Tinfoil Rican. Probably clean it up a bit before I add it on there. And, you know, if you find this information helpful and want more of it, you can hit me up at tinfoilrican@gmail.com, tinfoilrican.com. I also have a website, tinfoilrican.com. I have a Facebook page, I have an Instagram page, I have a Twitter page. No one else really has my name right now, so you should be able to find me. So with that, this is my first go around. Hopefully the second one will go much smoother, and see you guys soon. Bye.